these scars, little girl?
No.
But, don't you want your ball back?
No, thank you. I'm good.
But, you don't know what else I have. You see, I have the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast before it even gets into stores.
Heck yeah! Taylor!
Taylor! She probably lost her ball.
Probably.
Hey guys,
Was he here before?
I've never seen him before.
don't you want to know where I got these
No.
scars?
No. I think I'm good. Thanks.
But before you leave, little boy, I have a copy of Shin Godzilla on Blu-ray and DVD before it even gets into stores.
I think we're good. Thanks.
What? You're not interested in that? I honestly thought you would really be interested in that. Well, fine. Right. Alright, fine. Whatever, but how about The Shining?
No.
Pet Sematary?
No.
No.
Stephen King's Rose Red?
No.
No.
What about it?
Really? Let's get out of here, Riley. This is ridiculous.
Could I jump in for Shin Godzilla later?
No. Let's go.
Jason, will you stop coming in and criticizing everything that I do, for goodness sake? No. You're the one who's really bad at getting kids. No. You're the one who's really bad at getting kids. For goodness sake, no. You're the one who's bad at getting kids. Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Valley of Death, where everything's spooky, but we keep things light. Now, since the remake of It was coming out this Friday, I thought it'd be very appropriate to actually discuss the original It. It was the very first Stephen King movie that I actually ever saw, and to be honest, that's the movie that actually started, my paranoia of evil clowns. However, I saw it when I was a kid, and, now that I'm a grown-up, it can't really be that scary, right? Right? Ever since I got the original on Blu-ray, I've actually been dying to really relive a lot of the spooks and scares of the original movie. Do those spooks and scares actually hold up? Well, let's go ahead and see. The movie starts off, or basically every Stephen King story starts off, in Maine. Because, let's face it, there's no other place that's scarier on planet Earth than Maine. Because that's where all the supernatural, sci-fi, and all the other really creepy stuff happens. Honestly, I thought there would actually be far more scary places than Maine, but oh well, let's go with Maine. Maine is spooky. A little girl gets murdered, where the only black guy in Maine starts to get really concerned with all the murders that are going on.
I told you to stay out of this, Hamlin.
I'm just a concerned citizen, Chief. And I call 6 kids missing or dead a major cause for alarm here.
Apparently, he knows everything that's going on, so he decides to call up all of his old buddies, called the Losers Club. We're introduced to our main character, Bill, who is played by Richard Thomas. His acting's okay, but hear me out on this. Tell me if you see any similarities between him and a certain writer.
If they're gonna hire somebody to mangle one of my books, might as well be me.
Yup. He's basically Stephen King. It's honestly kind of funny seeing the comparisons between him and Stephen King. Just look! Later in the movie there's a scene where one of the characters is in a library and there are a bunch of posters to this character's books, and they all play on other names of Stephen King's books. It's just weird. I know you're supposed to write characters who are sometimes identical to yourself, the writer of the story, but making them exactly you is a little bit weird in my opinion. This little scene right here is actually a jab at Stanley Kubrick.
I wish you'd tell that idiot Greco.
I do, every day.
Besides, if they're gonna hire somebody to mangle one of my books, might as well be me.
Fun fact, Stephen King actually really hated Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining. Bill eventually gets a phone call from his friend Mike from Maine, where we then go into a flashback, Which, by the way, prepare yourselves, there are tons of flashbacks within this movie. Honestly, there should have been a subtext under the title of the movie. Stephen King's It, the flashback. Anyway, we eventually come down to the reason why Bill was called. And that's because his brother was one of the first victims from the terrifying evil clown known as Pennywise. Georgie's little paper boat goes down the sewer, and this is when we're introduced to...
Hi, Georgie. Aren't you going to say hello?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
I, Georgie, am Pennywise, the dancing clown. So now we know each other.
Excuse me, if I was a kid and I saw a clown pop out of the freaking sewer, I would not be talking to him at all. I'd be like, holy crap, I'm getting the frick out of here. This is Pennywise, also known as It, played by really famous actor Tim Curry, who honestly I don't really know whether to tell he's creepy or just plain downright funny. So anyway, Bill's brother Georgie is dragged into the sewer, murdered, and then we continue on with our story. After the phone call with Mike, Bill goes back to Maine because of a promise that he made that if there are any more murders in Derry, Maine, that most likely it's Pennywise the Clown. I guess there are no other murders that happen there. That they should all return to fight against the evil clown. One by one, we're introduced to the rest of the characters through the magical power of flashbacks, where we finally come down to the first confrontation between the Losers Club and Pennywise. They go into the sewer where Pennywise's lair is. I don't really know how they found out that's where his lair was. Deductive reasoning, I suppose? Where they're followed by 3 bullies who live in the town who are constantly berating and torturing the kids. Because, let's face it, when it comes to bullies in Stephen King's movies or books, they are very one-dimensional, and their only pleasure in life is to bring pain to others. 2 of the bullies wind up getting killed by the clown, and the kids have their first confrontation with Pennywise. And honestly, it's pretty anticlimactic. The kids stand in a circle, hold hands, and start singing Kumbaya. I'm just kidding. They basically just hold hands so they don't get separated by a fog. Where Pennywise shows up, grabs one of the kids, throws him up against the wall, and doesn't kill him. Okay? That's a whole nother thing. Throughout the entire movie, Pennywise is constantly going out through the entire movie where all he's doing is just scaring and making fun of the kids. He never attacks them, he never tries to kill them, and it's just very odd. Anyway, Beverly winds up throwing a slingshot of silver towards Pennywise's head, where I guess that hurt him, and he winds up jumping down the sewer and gets away, and they think that they defeated him, but they're still a little bit like, I think he's actually defeated. We'll come back in a few years. Now we cut to present day, even though we've been in present day and we've just been kind of lost within the whole concept of that there's been a ton of freaking flashbacks. One of the characters goes there looking for Bill and Mike, where this really weird scene happens.
If you see...
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Am I supposed to be creeped out, or just weirded out, or just wondering what the heck is happening? I don't really know. This scene just comes out of nowhere and honestly doesn't really fit within anything that's happening other than just scaring the living crap out of one of his own victims again. It's not even scary. It's just the actual what the hell? How else are you going to respond to a clown going, I don't know, I wouldn't be scared, but I certainly would be like, what the hell's wrong with you, and leave the library. Everyone gets back together, they all have a happy reunion where they're still scared the living bejeebus out of the evil clown. Because the fortune cookies come to life and a lot of really creepy things start coming out. Honestly, I wouldn't even blame the evil clown. I probably would have just blamed the Chinese food restaurant for giving me uncooked food. Anyway, the Losers Club is reunited once again, and they go back to a hotel just to go ahead and spend the night, collect their thoughts, and get attacked by the bully who has escaped from the insane asylum. Awkward. I mean, I'm sure when you're a kid and watching this movie, it would be really, really creepy and really, really scary. I mean, there are plenty of scary elements in it. However, it's not scary. Watching this movie again, I'm like, how was this movie scary? I know I'm a horror fanatic, but there are still plenty of horror movies that I watch, which honestly still scare me at least a tiny bit. This is the first example I've actually watched a movie years later where it does not scare me. What the hell? After the attack on the Losers Club from the bully, who they just leave inside the hotel room and don't call the police or explain why there's a dead body in there, 'cause reasons, they embark on their mission to go and attack the clown. Finally. So they make it down to the lair of Pennywise, and then they see the terrifying creature which has been, holy crap, it's a freaking spider! To be honest, this scene did scare me when I was a kid because, I mean, giant spiders, they're always creepy, and there's still a tiny little bit of fear behind that because I absolutely hate spiders, but for a conclusion like this, it doesn't make any sense why he's a giant flipping spider. I mean, out of everything that you could come up with of a supernatural evil clown who kills people, who adults can't see, but apparently know he exists, but they don't bother to attack him, he turns out to be a giant spider. What? Anyway, the kids wind up attacking the spider, they kill the spider, they save Bill's wife, they escape from the lair, well, all except one of them. Sorry, dude. And they all live happily ever after, except with really traumatic clown PTSD. Now, the movie It is not really that bad. There are really enjoyable elements of the movie. The kid actors are really, really good. Tim Curry is a lot of fun to watch, but he's not scary. He's creepy. He's definitely creepy, but he's not scary. I mean, honestly, the only really big problems I had with the movie was that it was a little bit on the long side. I mean, I know it was a miniseries, so that explains why it was so long, but still, it's a very long movie. Some of the characters are very one-dimensional. There are a lot of cliches. Cliches don't bother me too much, but once in a while they can be a little bit too much. Above all, the movie is not scary. Why the heck was I scared by this movie as a kid? I truly am flabbergasted watching this movie again, and it's not scary. I've seen many horror movies where many of them have actually left pretty dang emotional scars on me, and then I see this one where this left a huge emotional scar on me as a kid, and I'm like, what the heck, bro? What the heck? Well, all I have to say is I hope the remake is better than this. Hey guys! Thanks for viewing the very first episode of Valley of Death. I just wanted to say, thank you for supporting my channel, and for those who haven't, please subscribe to my channel if you want. I don't know, whatever. But, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and say that. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below of what you guys think overall of the show so far. If you guys have any recommendations for other horror movies or monster movies or sci-fi monstery kind of movies you want me to review, because those are also, up for grabs, in this show, go ahead and suggest a few stuff. because I certainly wouldn't mind hearing some of your recommendations of what to review next for Valley of Death. But yeah, other than that, be prepared for some more videos coming in the later weeks, days, whatever, weeks, yeah, more like weeks and months, whatever. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my other like Stephen King reviews that I did, you know, links are in the box somewhere or in the description box. I don't know, they'll be somewhere. So, but yeah, that's it. God bless, and I'll see you guys later.